So the first rule I want to cover is what happens when we have a zero exponent. So if you have something to the zero, okay, it equals 1. Okay, it doesn't matter if I have a squared, 3a squared, 3ab, 3, okay, to the 0, it equals 1. If I have a bazillion to the 0 power, it equals 1. If I had a all the way to z with a bunch of powers, it equals 1. Okay? So anything to the 0 power is 1. Okay? That's the first. Okay? Anything. It doesn't matter what it is, and it has a 0 power, it is 1. Okay? The other thing is with negative exponents. So, it is not mathematically appropriate to have a negative exponent. Okay? So, you need to get rid of it. So, if we have, and the easiest way is if I draw it like, if I have b to the negative 1, in order to make it a positive, I need to move it down. Okay, so when I move it down, it becomes this, b to the 1. Okay, on the flip side of that, if I had c to the negative 4, then that means because it's on the bottom, I need to move it to the top. Okay, so if they're on the top, you need to move them to the bottom. If they're on the bottom, you need to move them to the top. Okay, so then you would move this one then up, and it would become c to the positive 4. Okay, it gets rid of the negative. Alright, so all the rules are the same except for you need to get rid of the negatives today. Okay? So, and then we have our 3 rules. So we can see here that this is the dot, okay, which is the product rule, meaning you need to add the exponents. Okay? So, if we look at this first one, what is negative 3 times negative 4? Positive 12 times 3. 36. Okay, and now we can add the exponents. Well, what is 2 plus 0? 2 plus 1? 3. Okay, so, and then lastly, are there any negatives? No, so this one is done. Okay, you need to check every single time. If you have negatives, then you need to move them. Okay? All right, look at number 3. First of all, I can put a 1 where? In front of this x, okay? So, same thing, we see the dot here, so you need to multiply the bigs and add the littles. So, what is negative, or 3 times negative 1? Negative 3 times 2. Negative 6, x to the, okay, and today is probably going to be beneficial because there's negatives to use a calculator, okay? So, what is negative 4 plus 2? Negative 2 plus negative 4. Okay, type that on your calculator. Negative 4 plus 2 plus negative 4. Negative 6. Okay, so do we have a negative?
Yes.
Where? Okay, all we care about today is if there's a negative on the power. Okay, I'm not looking at this negative 6. Okay, when I talk about negatives, we're talking about the power. You are not allowed to have a negative in this one. Okay, so what you need to do is draw a fraction bar. Okay, really anything you can write over 1. Okay, so the 6, is there a negative exponent attached to that?
Yes.
No, this 6. Okay, what we know, any number has an exponent of 1. So, does he need moved? Does he have a negative exponent?
No.
No, so he's going to stay on top. Okay, well, what about this x? Does he have a negative exponent? Yes, so then it gets moved down to the bottom, and it will become a positive 6. Okay, the only things that you should be moving are the negative exponents, okay, the little bit of baby numbers. I don't care about the big numbers. You don't need to move those unless it was like a negative 1, okay? If it was a negative 1 up here, then that one would need to be moved, okay? We're only looking at the exponents today. Okay, if we look at 5, I can put a 1 in front of this m and a 1 in front of this m, and it has a power of 1. Okay? So, what is negative 1 times 1? Negative 1 m to the 0 plus 1. 1. Okay, do we have negative exponents? No. Okay, so again, if this one was negative, then I would need to move it. Okay, there's no negative exponents here, so I do not need to move that. Okay, look at 7. There's a dot, so that means you need to add exponents. 4 times 3. 12. A to the what? To the 2. There's nothing else to add with this A. B to the 6, because we got 4 plus 2. Are there any negative exponents? No, so we're done. We don't need to move anything. Okay, what do you notice about 9?
It's the 0. Or it's the parentheses.
It's got the parentheses, which means you're going to multiply the exponents. Okay, so first of all, any big number has an exponent of 1 if there's nothing there. Okay, so we're going to say negative 3. What is 2 times 1? 2. X to the 2 times 0.
1,
What's 2 times 0?
0,
0. Okay, well, what is anything to the 0 power? 1. Okay, now, if it's with other stuff, you can change this to a 1. Okay, so it would look like this. Okay, which means you need to multiply those. Okay, so you're going to be left with negative 3 squared. Okay, essentially, when you have other stuff there, it just cancels out. Okay, because that's what happened. We turned it into a 1 and then it disappeared. Okay, so it just kind of cancels out. And we don't need to move that because there's not a negative on the exponent. Okay, look at 11. First of all, I'm going to put the 1. Okay, so I have a big 2 for a coefficient. What is 2 times 1? 2. X to the 2 times 2. Negative 2. Negative 4. Okay, do we have negative exponents?
Yes.
Yes, what needs moved?
The negative 1.
Okay, so draw your bar. Where does the 2 to the 2 go? 2 to the 2. It stays on the top. Why do we not need to move it? There's not a negative, okay? And going with that, to save yourself a step, what is 2 to the second power? It is 4. Okay, x to the negative 4, where does it go? On the bottom, and it will become a positive. Okay, all of these rules are all the same as what we've already done all week. The only difference is if there's negatives. That's the only difference of what we're doing today. Okay, 13. Where can I put a 1? On the, in front of the y, and it's also got a 1 power, okay? So this looks crazy, but you got negative 1 to the 1 power, y to the negative 3, all to the 4, okay? That way it looks a little clearer. Okay, so what is 4 times 1? 4. Y to the 4 times negative 3. Negative 12. Do we have negative exponents? Yes. Okay. Well, where does negative 1 to the 4th power go? On the top. And what is negative 1 to the 4th power? Because we need to simplify. The same way if it was 2 squared. Negative 1 to the 4th power. Negative 1. And then we get y to the positive 12 on the bottom. Okay, where can I put some ones on 15?
Over the 3 and the x.
Over the 3 and the x. Okay, so we have 3 to the, what is negative 1 times 1?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. X to the negative 1 times 1. Negative 1. Y to the negative 1 times negative 2. Positive 2. Okay, where does the 3 to the negative 1 go? Mm-mm. Where does it go? It does not. Does it have a negative exponent? Yeah, so then it needs moved where? To the bottom. X to the negative 1, where is it going to go? Bottom. Y to the 2. Top. Okay, and then last but not least, you need to simplify this. What is 3 to the 1 power? It is just 3, okay? So if you don't want to rewrite the whole thing, just erase the 1 right here, and then it's done. Okay, 17. What property is that? It's the division, okay? So we subtract the exponents, okay? And this is what we did yesterday, okay? So your first step is to deal with the big numbers. Does negative 4 over negative 1 simplify?
Wait.
Type it out on your calculator, do the fraction. Negative 4 over negative 1.
4.
It becomes 4, okay? So that goes on the top. If you get a whole number, it goes on the top. And then we say k to the 0 minus 4. Okay, so k to the 0 minus 4. What is that? Negative 4. So we get 4k to the negative 4. What needs moved? Okay, well, where does the 4 go?
Oh, top.
Top, k to the negative 4 on the bottom, and it becomes a positive. Okay, 19. Where can I put a 1? Okay, in front of this x and on top of the x. Okay, so dealing with your fraction first. What is 1 over a negative 3? What do you get for a simplified version of that fraction? 1 over negative 3. Type it on your calculator. Negative 1 over 3, okay? So it's still going to be 1/3, and you can throw the negative out there. You can keep it with the 3, you can keep it with the 1, but you only need one of them, okay? So pick a spot and put it there, okay? And then we do the x, so we say x to the 1 minus what? 1 minus. Okay, we do the top minus the bottom. What's on the bottom? Negative 4. Okay, and this is where the division gets a little bit tricky, okay? You cannot forget the negative, because what is a minus minus? A plus. So this is going to change to a plus. And what's that going to be now? 5. So you get negative 1/3 x to the 5. Okay, what needs moved? Nothing needs moved. I have no negative exponents. Nothing needs moved. So this is our answer. Okay, 21. What is negative 4 over negative 4? Type the fraction on your calculator. It's 1 or 1 over 1. Okay, either way works. Okay, and then we say x to the negative 2 minus, what's on the bottom? 2. Y to the 0 minus what? Negative 3. Okay, so for the x, what am I going to get? What is negative 2 minus 2? Negative 4. What am I going to get for the y? Positive 3. Why positive? Yeah, we got these double negatives, so it's going to become a plus, so positive 3. What needs moved? The negative 4. Okay, so the 1 stays. The 1 stays. The x to the 4 goes on the bottom, and the y to the 3 stays on top. Okay, again, we don't move anything unless it has a negative exponent. If it's on the bottom, you're going to move it up. If it's on the top, you're going to move it down. Okay, 23. What is negative 3 over negative 1? Hello. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, can you wait and I'll go back to it in just a minute. Okay, what is negative 3 over negative 1? Type it on your calculator, let's go. Negative 3 over negative 1. Huh? It's just 3. X to the 3 minus negative 4. Y to the 4 minus 3. Okay, what are you going to get for the x? 7, good. Okay, what about the y? 1. What needs moved? Nothing. There's no negative exponents, so nothing needs moved. Obviously, this looks weird. You can either erase the line or put a 1 underneath of it. Either way, it does not matter. Okay, you guys got 12 to do. Get them done, and then put it in the box back there.